got your start in '95 on the
Yeah.
Indies. Talk about the training process because it's not that easy,
Yes. So
developing, such a character and becoming, an athlete.
yeah. So when I got into the business, it wasn't like it is now. Um, I got trained in a barn about a half a mile off the highway on a Pender nursery farm in Four Oaks, North Carolina. There was no electricity in the barn. The roof leaked. There was no bathroom. There was nowhere to change. No heat, no air condition. You showed up. They had a ring out there, and it was about as old school could be. The first time I was there was 8 guys. Started with a 5 mile run. After you run 5 miles, we did about 500 push-ups, 500 Hindu squats, 500 crunches. Then they put you in. You did all that before you ever even got to go into the ring. You know what I mean? So by the
Mhm.
time you got in the ring, you're gassed out and you're blown up. You can't really do anything anyway. Then they're making you hit ropes. You have no idea how to hit ropes. I remember getting home and my sides and my back, I had blood streaks and blood blisters all over my body because I was just, it's cables, right? Like a lot of
Oh
people
yeah.
don't realize how heavy duty ring ropes are,
Hmm.
and just shredded me to shreds. And my girlfriend at the time, she was like, "What in the world happened to you?" Because I was hurting so bad. I had to sleep in a recliner chair. I couldn't lay down. And I made it through the first week, and one other guy made it through the first week. 6 guys quit, didn't come back. Week 2, 3, and 4, it was me and one other guy. After the fourth week, the other guy stopped showing up. So I was the only guy that made it through. Um, I had, in my opinion, one of the best trainers that this business has ever had. C.W. Anderson is I consider him a great friend today. I mean, I'm not actively connected with him. I don't get to see him and hang out with him, but I credit everything that I got to experience in the wrestling business. I credit to him. He taught me everything that I knew about wrestling, from A to Z, psychology, how to work, and he did it the old school way. And you'd learn one new thing each week. And as you continue to progress through weeks, you start putting things together. Um, about 3.5, 4 months in, maybe. So I'd already had my gear and stuff. I was, like I say, again, old school. You go to every show that you can go to just to be there. You always have a bag in the trunk because you never know when you might get used. And even though I'd never even worked a show before, I always had my bag in the trunk. I'd go to these shows. I'd help set up ring chairs. I'd help set up the rings. I'd run concession stands. I'd do anything that I could do for those promoters to get in good with those guys so I'd be able to get some work. Um, because back in my day, that was what we called paying dues. You didn't just show up and start working on shows. You had to build relationships with these guys. And if it meant getting taken advantage of for 6 months to be able to work on some shows, if you love pro wrestling and wanted to be a part of that business, you did what had to be done to get in that business. And those are the types of things that I did to get my foot in the door.
Yeah, I mean, it's sacrifices. You had to do stuff that you may not have loved as much in order to get to what you wanted to do. And it seems like you got that experience, that well-rounded experience. You got to do everything pretty much.
Yeah, and I was at a show one night. It was in March of '95. Like I said, I've been training about 3.5 months. I had developed relationships with the guys who provided the ring and did the ring. They was paying me like $20 a night to help them unload, set up, break down, and load back up the ring. So I was there early for that. Had a front row seat because I'm always there, 3 hours early. Helped set up the ring, did everything. Show had just started, and one of the guys come up and grabbed me by the arm and said, Grog wants to see you in the back. That was a promoter. It was SCW, Southern Championship Wrestling, Count Grog. His real name's Greg, awesome dude. He was the booker and the owner of that company. They said, Grog wants to see you in the back. I was like, uh-oh, what did I do? And he said, did you bring your stuff? And immediately I got butterflies and started shaking. I said, yes, sir. He said, well, go get it. I need you to work tonight. And it was that simple. And I probably weighed 145 pounds soaking wet. At the time, I was 16 years old. I told everyone that I was 18. Um, no one ever asked for a driver's license, or you didn't sign waivers or anything like that back then. You know, you showed up with cash, you paid your money, and you got trained. But he put me in there with Big Slam Vader. I don't know if you've ever seen. He's a real big, heavy set guy.
Yeah, Vader.
He passed away a little bit ago, but
Yeah.
I worked with him, and it was like a 5-minute match, but they put me underneath the hood, and Shane Helms let me borrow some boots, but I had trunks, and somebody else give me the mask, and they said, just go out there. And I was like, what am I doing? I don't even have a clue what I'm doing. And CW said, are you nervous? Because I'm visually shaking.
Yeah.
I said, yes, sir. I'm scared to death. And he slapped me in the chest harder than I'd ever been hit before with one of his chops. He goes, are you still nervous? I said, no, sir, I'm good. Let's go. He's like, all right, just go out there and listen and do what you're told. You'll be fine. If I didn't think you'd be fine, you wouldn't be going out there. And that was it. I went out there. He walked me through the whole thing. It was like 5-6 minutes. I mean, obviously, it was like a total squash, totally sell, get him over type thing. But I was just stoked to be on the show, man. And then after that, it just kind of like was a placebo effect. Every weekend, I started getting on shows, and I just kept learning, kept listening, kept paying attention, kept getting better, kept getting more ring time, and matches started getting better, and everything kind of took off from there.
Seems like that shop just lit a fire under you to start really getting in gear here. So all right. So once that happened and you had your first match, I bet you felt pretty, it was like a sigh of relief. It was like, the first one's over. Now I can start really going forward and start moving up the ladder.
It's a weird feeling to try to explain to guys who's never done it, but you're confident that you know how to do what you're doing, but you're still petrified because you've never actually done it in front of a live crowd, right? And there was only 100 people at that show. It wasn't a big deal at all, but to me, it was like WrestleMania, because it was like, I've made it, I've arrived, I'm in the show now,
Yeah.
But yeah, you just pick up your confidence from there, and the most important thing is just listening and paying attention and learning how, when, and why you do things, paying attention to how crowds respond, how they react, and the guys that are able to put those things together are the guys who are more successful.
Oh yeah, absolutely. As you pay attention, do what you're supposed to do, you'll make it far. I mean,